Blue hamster, I think I love you.
I love you too, yellow frog.
We're gonna be together forever, baby, I just know it. Oh no, I'm being devoured.
Yellow frog!
The pain is so intense.
No!
Ah.
Psychologists agree that play is beneficial for kids and adults alike, and as you can see, I am playing. But this is just one kind of play. What about games with pre-existing sets of rules you have to follow if you want the intended gameplay experience? Well, those count too. In fact, what I've just shown you are two ends of a spectrum of play developed by French sociologist Roger Caillois in the mid-20th century. On the one side, you've got unstructured imagination, which he called paideia, and on the other, you've got rule-based, objective-driven activity, or ludus. So how do video games fit into this? Well, gaming is often a form of play, and it's actually one of the fastest-growing ones at that. But there's a problem. It seems to me that the vast majority of games that get noticed kind of concentrate around one end of this sliding scale, and if you pay attention to gaming trends at all, you know which end I mean. AAA developers, of course, are leading the charge with legions of linear cover-based shooters, and honestly, popular indie devs aren't much better. But my argument isn't that COD has gotten boring, we all already know that. The question is, if we're in a market that lacks diversity, what kind of diversity do we want? And I think one of the many answers to that question could lie in paideia. In all fairness, there are plenty of big games that encourage some level of unstructured play, but some do so just by virtue of similarity to existing forms of play, and others are hampered by their commitments to characterization and story. What would an ideal paideic game look like? Well, I think it would look at least a little bit like Noby Noby Boy.
Noby, 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 Noby Boy.
In Noby Noby Boy, you have one objective. You are boy. You love the interplanetary being known as girl. Girl wants to elongate, but she cannot. You must elongate and contribute your length to girl, and together you must extend the far reaches of space. You've only got a couple simple functions. You control boy's head and butt separately. You can eat things and poop them out, which makes boy grow. The bigger he is, the further he can stretch himself out. So apart from the goal of lengthening girl, which it should be noted is shared by every player who has the game, it doesn't look like there's a lot to do here. Like, navigating boy around the screen is fun at first, but then what? I guess I'll see how far across the screen I can stretch him. Jesus, there's so much of me. Maybe I can consolidate myself by coiling up like a sneaky. Huh, it actually worked. I wonder if I can coil around that cloud too. This is what makes Noby Noby Boy special. More than any other game I can think of, it encourages dicking around, that is to say, Caillois' paideia. There are several factors that make this possible. The setting, despite technically being planets from our solar system, is very abstract and doesn't imply the kind of activity the player should be seeking. Plus, boy's abilities are distinct, idiosyncratic, they don't evoke any of the player's past gaming experiences. And more importantly, they're simple enough that they invite open-ended experimentation. If you play this game and you can't find anything to do, you're probably not imagining hard enough. I'll give you an example. There are all these NPCs just milling around and I can't enter conversation trees with them or solicit sexual favors from them and shoot them out of spite when they ask for money. What do I do? Well, let's try applying imagination to this problem. Let's pretend. Try pretending to be your favorite character from literature or film. You could let an NPC ride you and then take off into the sky like you're Falcor the Luck Dragon from the Neverending Story. Or you could slowly enter a large group of NPCs and gain their trust, biding your time until you open your cosmic maw and devour them all like No-Face from the animated masterpiece Spirited Away. Now, wasn't that more fun than shooting strangers in the head? You had to think a little, you had to draw on personal memories from real life in a way that gives you a stronger connection to the game, or at least a different kind of connection. I mean, okay, it's not gaming Citizen Kane or anything, it's still silly as hell, it's still eating the blue leg off a giant robot and watching it reassemble in midair after you fart it out. There are miniature models of Jupiter on the planet Jupiter. Everything on Neptune is inexplicably Japan-themed. I'd expect no less from Keita Takahashi, the legendary man who unsurprisingly also created Katamari. No, Noby Noby Boy isn't Kubrick or Hughes or Confucius or Bronte, and although I've been making obnoxious little jabs at GTA, I don't think it's actually better or worse than that either, but I think Noby Noby Boy is really important. Almost literally none of the things it does are based in gaming convention. Do you understand how impressive that is? And do you understand what that means about the games we're playing today? And how much we've narrowed our definition of video game? When the game was released, what little reaction there was pretty uniform. "Oh, Japan, you're so weird," they said. "What drugs were they on when they made this?" Well, I've got some news. This is not what an LSD trip looks like, and this is not what Japanese culture looks like. This is what play looks like.